All right. So a comment was made the other day, and it was a great comment asking about the enhancement system. And I took a moment to realize I've never really talked about the enhancement system and how do you go about, like, what's the best way to go about it. And to be honest, it's actually very similar to gemming. And if you guys haven't gone into this playlist and looked at my gemming advice, I highly suggest that you go check those out because a lot of the same principles is going to apply to the enhancement system. The way to look at the enhancement system is imagine it like having 6 extra gem slots, except those gems are basically, there's no set bonus and their stats that they add aren't as high as the gems, but they're pretty much a separate gem system to the game. And for the sake of this video, we're going to look at my water Valkyrie here. I just recently 6-starred her, and so, or not 6-starred her, I just recently enhanced her, so it's going to be a good opportunity to talk about it going forward. Now, the one thing that you want to always look at, so I'm going to go over here to, let's say, let's just grab here. So when you click the enhance button, this is what it looks like first, okay? So again, you have 6 categories that get enhanced, okay? And they're going to start increasing their cost. And each time that you hit this button, depending on whether you got the statistic you wanted to be enhanced, you're going to be re-rolling that stat for the amount that is shown. And like I said, that goes up from 100 to start, and it will cost you 500 per roll down here for your last stat. So just keep in mind this can get quite expensive, and as you can see up here in the top left, it shows you how much dust that you have. Now, where do you get this essence or dust, whatever you want to call it? Where do you get this from? Well, you get this from releasing 3-star and higher Astromon. You get more dust out of releasing these Astromon 3 stars. I actually don't believe you get any for releasing like 2-star Astromon. So when it comes down to it, the reason why you'd be releasing 3-star Astromon is eventually you'll get to my point in the game where you don't need, like, again, Kokomaru, for instance. I'm only saving these variants for any 3-star pulls. But for instance, if I wanted to release this, my wood Wendigo here, I'd get some type of reward for releasing him. So I'd get maybe gold, but sometimes you'll get essence, and that's generally where you're only going to get the essence, and it's 3, 4, or 5 stars up that give it. However, never release your 5-star Astromon. That's foolish. But anyway, back to the enhancement system and back to my Valkyrie. So once again, when I say it's like gems, here's how it is on the screen, okay? So again, each category you can enhance something, and it picks from the statistics on the Astromon. So coming back out here on the left-hand side, right, you have HP, attack, defense, recovery, crit damage, crit rate, resist, and crit resist. These are all the stats that can be rolled on there. Now, they can also be rolled with the flat. Do I have an example? I think I have on here. Yes, so you also can get flat. So just like, again, with gems, you can get percent gems and you can get flat gems, right? The flat just meaning it gives a flat HP. Like here, this is giving me only 3,900. Same thing up here with HP percent. This is giving me 11% extra HP, and these are all based. These are all that percent based is all off your Astromon's stat here on the left. So I'm getting an additional 11% HP off of her 29,814. Okay, so you can get both the percent and the flat off this. But so what really, how do you go about this? And this is, like I said, why I pointed back to my gemming video, because you have to look at your Astromon. Okay, you have to look at what is the most important thing about your Astromon, and it doesn't always, again, it never always just ends on, okay, Valkyrie, here's an attacker, so we're gonna go to the attack stat only. No, that's not where it is, because once again, you always want to be looking at these abilities, because again, if there are gems that can help these skills out, you're going to be targeting those gems. There's no difference in the enhancement. If you have if there is a certain stat that is more beneficial for a skill, you're going to be targeting that first. However, in Valkyrie's case here, we don't, okay? So what stats do we want to target? And again, you can use what I have on here. I'm going to cover everything on this. Again, though, this is advice. This is not the be all end all. This is not I am not the authority. I am just giving you guys the my thoughts on this from my years of playing. Okay, so running down this once again, up here up top is going to cost you the least amount to go through this. The problem is you I say that, but the game is going to be able to pick from everything. Okay, you can't just go attack percent, attack percent, attack percent, attack percent, attack percent, attack percent. That's not how this system works. Once you lock in, let's say crit rate, like I have up here, you can never get crit rate again. All right. That also removes it from the pool. So that's the other thing to remember. So out of the, there's technically 2 here, 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Technically 12. Yeah, 12 stats it can roll out of. When I locked in crit rate, I now only have 11, right? So it has 11 things it can pick out of here. So that's kind of where the system is kind of detrimental, where you can't just say I want this stat and enhance and let it go. It's all RNG based, and you do have to get lucky. So just keep that in mind going forward. But regardless, bringing this conversation back on track here, right? So in the first slot, I locked in crit rate. It rolled 11 out of 12, and I said, okay, that's fine. But you really want to keep into the main stats in the first 3 categories, because like I said, as you come down this list, this starts to get very expensive, and very expensive very quickly for the stats that you want, right? So all I did was I locked in crit rate because having 11% extra crit rate, and again, you can see that being right here, not being influenced at all by her trinkets. The 11% crit rate is better than nothing, okay? I could gem this Astromon to start building up this crit rate, but as I've talked about before, really looking at her kit and all this, having more damage might be more beneficial. But who knows? I might try a crit build on Valkyrie, because if we can get her close to 100% crit rate, this predator damage is off the charts. Not to mention if she defense downs a boss and then goes into predator again, it's gonna hurt, man. She's just gonna hit very hard. So that was my thought process there. Lock in a crit rate. Here, attack percent, obviously as an attacker, again, since nothing goes into her abilities as nothing's really going into her 2 abilities. We're just going to focus on her main stat, and since it's an attacker, here we have attack percent. So we have I rolled a 16% extra attack there. That's great. Next up is more of my rounded out stat. So technically speaking, we might want to go for crit damage, because I'm also trying to do the crit rate here. You could also go for the flat attack as well. It's not as much. It's better than nothing. So you could roll the attack, the flat attack increase on here, and that would be okay. However, for the stats you see for the rest of this Astromon is based off of where I will put her. So I have crit resist here for the reason of in PvP, having 12% extra crit resist is going to be awesome. So she's getting crit resist 9% here, which is adding to the which is adding up to 21% overall crit resist. This is for PvP, and I picked this one just because of that. Again, I try and round out my Astromon to be both PvP orientated and PvE a little bit. So that's why crit resist is in here. The crit damage fully maxed, so this is 24% extra crit damage. So if she does get the crit off, she's going to have the extra damage, and that's always good. And the last 2 just come down to survivability. You could again substitute out probably the crit resist for the flat attack just to help boost her attack a little bit more. So that's kind of the swing statistic here, but HP percent is just overall more HP to survive hits, even out in the field, even against bosses, things like that. And the resist stat is always nice here as well. So you have resistances for things like sap, taunt, shock, etc., etc. Once again, that's more PvP orientated, but there are still stages that Astromon that you can fight. Having the resist is up there. So again, this is just this is the enhancement system overall. Again, it's like I said, if you look at it as another gemming system that isn't as powerful as gems and no set bonus, you basically get to pump 3 main stats, and then you have the option of choosing where else to put all this stuff. So again, I like this system. It has its flaws and ups and downs, but this is generally speaking how I go about it. And this showing this off on my attacking Astromon. So even going here to my Victoria, again, first stat I rolled was the attack percent, gave her crit damage. Once again, you see I followed a little bit of a similar path, but instead of resistance, I decided to give her the flat HP. Again, this is kind of up in the air. You could go again for the resist for more for again, the resist to have against any debuff coming out, but I chose to go HP on this one just to help her survivability, because her HP, and again, you can see the difference, but again, this is the difference between having gems on also versus I have no gems on my Water Valkyr. But you can see kind of a similar pattern here between my attackers. Here, crit damage, crit resist. I did not roll a crit rate, excuse me, on this one. I could redo that. But again, it's fine. I think this is fine where this is at. For the last little bit, once you've locked in an ability, all you need to do, let's say I want to give her more HP, okay? You click on this stat over here. I can spend 250 dust or 100 gems. Here I'm going to spend 250 dust, try and get over the 6, and we got over the 6, so now we have a 15% HP, right? So you could go over here and try and max out all of these. Again, if you're really trying to optimize that one Astromon, you could do this for. Obviously, I could come over here to my Dark Persephone, right? And as you can see, these are really wonky wonky stats that I have on her. But if I really wanted to, make her better, first of all, I'd probably reset all of these and go again on her. But for now, she's fine because she's still godlike for where she's at. But you could re-roll these stats to get fully maxed on that Astromon. If you were really trying to go that route. But anyway, there's the enhancement system. Hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, just put them in down below. I try and get around to all of them anyway. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.